Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's horrifically buggy launch has sealed Pokemon's fate on the Nintendo Switch. We will never get a good mainline Pokemon game on this system, because by the time the franchise's 3-year marketing cycle is over in 2025, we'll have a new console from Nintendo. Counting the remakes, we've had 4 mainline game releases on the Switch. First we got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, visually appealing remakes of Gen 1 with terrible Pokemon catching mechanics that involve motion controls, which everyone has hated since Skyward Sword on the Wii, and yet some companies still try to push them because they're allergic to listening to customer feedback. After that came Sword and Shield, which looked about as good as the bottom of my shoe after running through the fields on a rainy day, and were only slightly more entertaining than manually counting the blades of grass in the entirety of Ireland. Then Gamefreak blessed us with Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond, faithful remakes of the legendary Gen 4 games. In fact, they were so true to the originals that the devs even included the wonderful mechanic of not being able to walk diagonally. These games were so close to being great. All Gamefreak needed to do was change the spelling from Pearl to Platinum, and then give us an entirely different game. And finally, the last stop on this depressing train of mediocrity is Scarlet and Violet. You know we're in a bad place when the new Sonic game is received way better than the new Pokemon. Sure, Sonic is having some growing pains from going open world, but Pokemon is having a level 5 catastrophic nuclear meltdown. The Pokemon Company, which is a joint investment by Game Freak, Nintendo, and Creatures, has badly mishandled this franchise, and I'm tired of seeing my childhood get slaughtered in cold blood right in front of my eyes by a mega corporation's grubby little money-grabbing claws. I've tried to look outside my own bubble, asking others what they think of Scarlet and Violet, and looking at countless reviews from both big outlets and smaller independent reviewers. I'd like to share the positives I've found first, because I don't want this video to come across as me hating on Pokemon. Now, what I do hate is the Pokemon Company, since they're a bunch of greedy weasels, but the main positive about the Gen 9 Pokemon games is the move to an open world design. This is a solid step forward for the mainline Pokemon games, which have long felt stale due to repetitive progression design. No longer do you follow a linear path from town to town, beating each gym in order on your way to the Elite Four. You can technically go about things in any order you want, you know, kind of. Tied into all of this is the ability to play with your friends in seamless co-op. It's awesome to be able to roam around this world with friends. Well, sort of. Lastly, I'd like to say these games have accomplished something truly remarkable. I don't know if the Pokemon fanbase has ever been as united as we are right now in calling out the horrendous performance of Scarlet and Violet. These games run so badly that IGN gave them a 6 out of 10, and everybody actually agreed with them. When does the average gamer ever agree with IGN? I haven't seen any reviews that don't discuss their performance issues as serious detractors from the overall experience of the games. Now that is something that Scarlet and Violet managed to pull off. With that out of the way, I'm ready to rip and tear the Pokemon Company apart like the Doomslayer at the annual Demon Convention for their utter lack of care with this precious franchise. The whole reason we get these unfinished, buggy games with tragically bad visuals is because the Pokemon Company refuses to deviate from its 3-year marketing cycle. Game Freak foolishly attempts to produce games on a massive scale in just 3 short years, and utterly fails to deliver because 3D open world games are vastly more complicated than 2D games like the earlier Pokemon titles. Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West both took around 5 years to develop. These games were given so much time because that's how long it takes to produce an innovative, polished open world experience. As a result, they're 2 of the best games released this entire year, while Pokemon is sitting at the 98th best Switch game of the year. It barely made it into the top 100 in Nintendo's ecosystem, much less the overall industry. If Game Freak had taken more time, delayed the game even a year longer, they could have significantly reduced the performance issues Scarlet and Violet are plagued with right now. But nope, making more money than Mario, the MCU, and Harry Potter combined isn't enough for the incarnation of greed that we call the Pokemon Company. They need to release the games now, right alongside their merchandise drop, to get that sweet cash out of their consumers. But if you can't change the time frame, you can increase the amount of manpower put into the games, right? Well, Game Freak prefers to have smaller teams. They only had 200 people working on Sword and Shield. For reference, Activision has every single one of their studios working on Call of Duty, with the company's headcount at 9,800 employees in 2021. Obviously, these people are not all developers, but you can take it to the bank that they had more than 200 people working on COD, which makes much less money than Pokemon. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are clearly the result of a tight deadline and a lack of devs. Game Freak has cut every corner in existence just to ship this game out on time. Do you like going into buildings? No, you don't. Here's a menu. Do you enjoy following a storyline that reaches a climax where you catch the legendary Pokemon from the box art? No, here it is, take it. We couldn't be bothered to write anything. Would it be cool to be able to battle in-game with your friends against gym leaders and other trainers? Yeah, it would be, but we didn't want to hire people to do that, so just stand there and look at each other or something. Level scaling for gyms, so it actually makes sense to go wherever you want instead of just going from 1 to 8 like normal? Nope. Faster animations in battles, so you don't have to wait 30 seconds for buffs and debuffs to finish? Nah, we like wasting your time and your money. I don't think Gamefreak had a single person doing QA on these games, and if they did, they sure didn't listen to what they were telling them. Anyone whose brain at least rivals that of a small rodent could tell you within 10 minutes that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are related to Battlefield 2042, which is a game that at least has textures, like any textures at all. At the risk of ranting all day and giving myself a blood clot, I'll stop there. The bottom line is this: I won't tell you what you can and can't buy, that's stupid. I'll just tell you that supporting Gamefreak this time around will tell the Pokemon company that it's okay to keep delivering games that score so badly with users that they'd flunk out of detention. If we keep up this trajectory, Gen 10 will be more like a 0 out of 10. I don't want to see that happen. I want Pokemon to be good. I want to live through another golden era of Pokemon like Gen 3. I want Pokemon to make us fall in love with it all over again.